Hello everyone, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulations. The end is in sight. I'd imagine that, not including this video, we only have like 3 or 4 more videos to go. And I'm just gonna try not to think about that, because it hurts my head when I do. Anyway, we're here on the second day of court, of the final case in the final game, and yeah, I'd imagine this might stretch on longer than a typical court case would. So, I'll just see what happens when it happens. Anyhow, we have done some extensive cross-examining of Iris's new testimony, and she's trying to say that Maya Fey killed Misty Fey, her own mother. I'm not having it. I don't know what her motive is, but I'm just not buying it. So we definitely put Iris into a corner here. She tried to say that she crossed the bridge when it should have been on fire. And this testimony here is going to be her desperate scramble to make up a new lie, I suppose. Let's see what she has to say.
Other than walking over the bridge, there's no way to move the body. So I must have just gotten confused, I guess.
Really? That's the best you could come up with?
Was the snow still falling, or had it stopped? Does it really matter that much? Or are you saying that there is a way to cross a burning bridge?
So it was just a misunderstanding. I see.
This is a photo of Dusky Bridge after it burned down from the lightning blast. It was taken on the morning after the incident.
Well, if this photo is going to become evidence, here's the part where we point out that the art drawing from Larry is upside down. Definitely. It was certainly burned to a crisp, and one of the suspension wires even snapped. It's amazing the whole bridge didn't fall. Clearly, it would be impossible to carry a corpse across a bridge in this condition. Unless I do something to discredit this testimony, it's going to be deemed as the truth, and Maya will be accused of murder.
Try. I'm only going to say it one more time. It is only human to err, and only humans can spot the errors of our ways.
The more sense he makes, the less sense he makes. All right, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination. Your final cross-examination? I don't know if that's if that's real. Oh no, I'm not ready for this to be over. Alright, let's begin by pressing everything. Yes, but if the snow had already stopped when the incident took place...
I couldn't have crossed the bridge, naturally. But I think it's just like Mr. Godot said. The body did make it across somehow. So I must have just gotten confused, I guess.
But you seemed to be quite sure of yourself when you gave your testimony. You said you were sure the snow had already stopped.
I'm terribly sorry. I was wrong.
Does she really think an apology is going to get her off the hook?
Was the snow still falling, or had it stopped? Does it really matter that much?
This is no joke. You're giving sworn testimony in a court of law.
Well, Mr. Wright, let me ask you a question. Do you remember what the weather was like 1 week ago today?
Huh? Oh, well, naturally it was, Oh.
You see, it's not that easy to remember, is it?
But if it had been some kind of a special day, I would have remembered. For example, it was pouring rain on the day of my elementary school graduation.
Objection!
The lore. Amazing. No one wants... Oh, forgive me. No one wants to hear about your childhood traumas, Trite.
What?
By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. If you insist on obsessing over that one statement, let's see the proof. Show some evidence that the body somehow crossed the bridge while it was on fire.
Or are you saying that there is a way to cross a burning bridge?
Well, I don't see why there couldn't be a way across.
Mr. Wright, don't you think that sounds a bit silly? A dead body crossing a burning bridge? Did anyone actually witness such a thing?
Yes. Speaking of childhood traumas... Ha! If there was, I don't think you'd call someone like that a witness. After all, a dream isn't the same as actually seeing something. Ah, the heavy-handed hints. I've come all this way, so I owe it to everyone to figure this out. But how do you transport a body across a burning bridge? Catapult. Yeah. Just bend a tree back or something, I don't know. If I don't know the exact answer yet, it's okay. Oh, thank God. I'll start by examining all of my evidence. See where that takes me. I've got to be like a shark. If I don't keep moving, I'm as good as dead.
Other than walking over the bridge, there's no way to move the body.
Right, that's the beginning. Alright, gosh, do we go straight for the photo? Like... not the photo, the sketch. This is the one piece of evidence that shows someone appearing to cross a burning bridge. So, if that's the case, which one do we use this on? Oh. I feel like I want to do it on this one, because it's like a question directed at Phoenix. Like, yeah, you show the evidence to present and say, yes, there is a way. If we get the dialogue going about how this sketch came to be, that might open up an opportunity. So if the person was falling below, so that's the main hall on the left and the inner temple on the right. Yes. I remember the geography. The shore is on the right side. And in fact, I think I can see the steep path down to the shack. What was it called? The Golden Palace? Something like that. Although you can't see the shack from the bridge, so how did Larry see it while he was sleeping in there? Yeah, I think... the answer does lie in the evidence. Phoenix is certain of that. And again, literally the only thing it could be is this. Oh, thank God. A dead body flying off our burning bridge. I won't exactly rule out the possibility. Whoop. What? Ha! You're saying it's possible. Don't make me laugh. Only thing that's possible about your claim is that it's been pulled out of thin air. I don't know about that. In any case, we have a witness who did see it happen. Preposterous. Who is it? Who is this witness? Can't chicken out here. Gotta keep on the attack and go, go, go. Miss Elise Deaughnim's brilliant and a highly gifted apprentice, Larice Deauxnim. Phoenix, you sit on a throne of lies. Brilliant? Highly gifted?
Apprentice?
Remember what he said in his testimony. That night he was at the Mountain Shack, Heavenly Hall. And that's when he witnessed the event. I think you've all seen this sketch before. It's an exact drawing of what he witnessed that night. Are you serious? Today is not April Fool's Day, is it? Mr. Wright, are you seriously claiming that the victim flew through the air? And you're using this pathetic scribble to support your argument? Uh-oh. The judge looks like he's about to blow a gasket. Oh, well, Trite, there's nowhere for you to hide now. Other than looking like it was drawn by a 6-year-old, does this sketch prove anything? Yes, I'm pretty sure it does, and I'm going to prove it. Listen, I know your tricks. You're trying to turn this whole thing up. I want to believe that in an alternate universe where I didn't understand the truth of the image of the sketch, I would have at this moment. Upside down, he says. If you're so eager to turn this case upside down, why not start with this sketch? Upside down? Why did Godot say that? This makes 2 times in this trial where he's helping Phoenix. Like, he even called out Iris on a contradiction. Godot, you seem to have it out for Phoenix, but actions speak louder than words, buddy. All right then, let's hear the defense's theory. What exactly is this sketch trying to show? Don't think old Whiskerface is going to forgive any more mistakes. Alright, Phoenix. Look carefully and think it over. The sketch drawn by Larice Deauxnim is... Obviously we can rule out the top one. This is everything. If we say exactly what happened, it would be saying this, as in what is being presented right here, is exactly what happened. That's not true. This is upside down. Therefore, I want to say it is a complete contradiction to reality. Something is obviously funny about this sketch. I'm no art critic, but even I can see that. No, that's not what I meant, Your Honor. Larice Deauxnim stated over and over that the sketch was exactly as he saw it. Yeah. However, if we're to believe his testimony, then the sketch contradicts reality as we know it.
It contradicts reality? This is getting interesting. Looks like you're back to that finger-pointing thing again. Okay, Trite. So what exactly contradicts?
I didn't get to finish that. But it's the upside-down ropes, right?
Take that!
It's this wire connected to the bridge. The wire?
Is that the thing that contradicts reality?
It is indeed.
Then show us the reality it supposedly conflicts with. Show us something that will point out how the sketch contradicts reality.
Why, here, take this real-ass photo of real-ass life. The support wires go under the bridge.
Take that!
That's a photo of Dusky Bridge, correct?
Yes. Now, compare the sketch and the photo for a minute. In the sketch, the wires appear to be above the guard wires. But on the actual Dusky Bridge,
Jumping Jehoshaphat.
the wires are below the guard wires.
What? Order. 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 This sketch is somewhat different than what's depicted in the photo. However, isn't it likely that the artist just saw it wrong?
Or perhaps he just drew it wrong. Either way, it sounds like you're just wrong.
If maybe my way of thinking that the body depicted in the sketch fell straight down off the bridge is incorrect. If we're talking here about how the body moved to the other side despite the bridge burning, the body flew under the bridge. That still leaves me wondering how, though.
With someone like Clarice, I admit a mistake is a definite possibility. But then that begs the question, why did he make a mistake? What was the reason? Are you saying you know the answer to that? Listen, think back, alright? Remember what Clarice was doing when he witnessed this event. He was at Heavenly Hall, waiting for a lover that was never going to come. He waited, and finally he laid down. But then, lightning shoots from the sky and sets the bridge aflame. Now ponder what sort of position Clarice must have been in at the time. He was lying on his back, which is why he remembered the scene the way he did.
He was lying on his back. I can't see how it relates.
But it does, Your Honor. That is the reason why the wires in the sketch go up instead of down.
Oh!
No way. Clarice Deauxnim witnessed the event while he was lying on his back, face up. In other words, the scene that he saw was actually upside down.
So then, this sketch should actually...
I think you finally get it, Your Honor. The correct way to view Clarice Deaunim's sketch is like this. This is how it should actually look. The victim's body wasn't flying above the bridge. It was actually swinging below. Swinging. Oh. 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 Wait. The under support wire that snapped? That's from the inner temple side. Oh my god, they could have, like... Whoever was transporting the body, Iris, could have used it to swing off, or they just untied it. But... No, wait. No. So, let's assume Iris approaches a burning bridge, unties one of the support wires. There are two options available. Either she swings over herself like freaking Tarzan, and then makes it to the main hall, but she'd have no way to get the body across. It would be stuck on the other end. Or... the other option is she ties the rope around the corpse and swings that across. Oh. Maybe that would explain the signs that it fell 10 feet. The body hit the cliff on the other side and was then pulled up. Okay. No, wait. I was about to say Iris tied up the body, set it to swing to the other side. It would hit the cliff, and then Iris would dash across the bridge at the last second. But there are two contradictions there. One, her body would be covered in burns and other injuries, and her clothes would be torn or burnt. And two, the body would just dangle. It would just dangle. It wouldn't stay there on the other side. There's no way for her to pull it up. Something still doesn't make sense here. That's right. Just like a pendulum. Ridiculous. Order.
Objection.
Of all the things to say, a pendulum? The bridge was burning to a crisp. There was no way to get across it. What if the body had been found at the inner temple? It would have caused problems. This is where the criminal decided to take a gamble. He used the burning bridge to get the body across to the other side. And a pendulum was the only way to get it done.
Objection.
Let's think about this for a minute, shall we? Dusky Bridge is about 20 yards long, which means it's about that far from the inner temple to the opposite cliff. Yes, that sounds right. In order to cover that distance with a pendulum, you need a rope at least 10 yards long. To get a rope that long, you have to plan ahead. Like, the support wire there literally covers half the bridge. Yeah, it's that. That's the rope that was used. The lightning strike that night can only have been an accident, so it doesn't make sense that the culprit would have prepared the rope beforehand. So then... they didn't have to get the rope ready. The rope was already right in front of them. What? I'm saying that it was just a matter of using what was already there. In that case, Mr. Wright, please give us an explanation to support your theory. What makes you think the criminal had the rope on hand to create a pendulum? Like, I don't even know why I'm hesitating. This is literally the only piece of evidence that could possibly be anything close to fitting this description. And the meaning of this is... if you want to know where the rope came from, it's hanging right there in front of your glorious beard. Oh, this is one of the wires from the bridge. When the lightning struck the bridge and set it on fire, One of the suspension wires came loose from its anchor. The criminal didn't have any time to waste, so they tied the wire around Elise Deaughnim's body. Because there was simply no other way to move the body. That still leaves so many questions, though. How did the murderer, the mover of the body, get across too? They couldn't have. Wait, but the only other person on the island was Maya. Wait, uh-oh. But no, we know for a fact that Iris made it back to the main hall. That can't be disputed. Whoa. Whoa, hey buddy. How much coffee's in that mug? Mr. Godot? It seems that Mr. Godot is more focused on his coffee than answering my question. It seems that the odds of a rope being readily available were very high. So I suppose that it's not an impossibility after all. Objection! How is there still coffee in that mug? Possible or impossible? That's not the question we need to ask. There's only one question. Did that really happen? Try it. I wonder if you can prove what happened to us. Do you have any actual evidence that the body was swung over like a pendulum? Body fell 10 feet after death, which is the math behind the pendulum, 10 feet. Oh. But no, that's like showing impact wounds, you know? Maybe we use Godot's earlier logic against him and say, if it wasn't swung over by a pendulum, how could you possibly explain this? She made it to the main hall. Oh. It would feel very, very sweet to use Godot's own trick against him. But I feel like this isn't something the franchise has ever asked me to do before. I feel like this piece of evidence directly stating the body fell 10 feet is more conclusive, but what's getting me though is that body fell 10 feet in an autopsy report clearly refers to hitting the ground. Like, yes, if there was a pendulum and she did swing, if the corpse did swing, then yes, it would have fallen 10 feet. But no evidence would have been made of that. Oh, no. Well, the good news is that I only have two choices here that really make sense. And I could survive if I chose both. It's one or the other, I think.
Oh god, no. What if it's the crystal sphere? It was flung loose by the pendulum, maybe? But no, there's nothing about the staff traveling with the body. That would just be absurd. No, I can't. I don't think it's this. I don't think it's that. Is there anything in the burnt letter specifying to do this? No, the lightning strike was an accident. It can't be this. No. There's nothing in this photo. Okay, I really do think it's either the autopsy report saying that the body fell 10 feet after her death, or putting Godot's trick against him. I'm gonna go with this first, because the text directly contradicts what Godot is saying, even though it doesn't quite make sense. Before I present my evidence, let me review what we know so far. According to this photo, one of the wires snapped. Oh, it's that one. That was a far one. Looking at the map... Oh, actually that makes a lot more sense, that position. Looking at the map, we can see it's the other one that was in front of the inner temple. So it was swung directly across to the other side, to that outcropping where the other support beam is. That's kind of near where the freaking orb was found. Yeah. Looking at the map, we can see it's the one that was in front of the inner temple. So then, that was the spot where the criminal... Yes, precisely. Now let us consider the body's movements by looking at the overhead map again. If the body was pushed from this point here, it would drop on the opposite bank at approximately this point. Did you say drop? Well, they must have failed to catch the body on the other bank. Oh. I know pendulums are extremely good at conserving momentum. Like, that's what a pendulum is. But I feel like between the weight of the body compared to the nature of the bridge, by the time Iris or whoever had the possession of the corpse got to the other side to catch the other side, it wouldn't be swinging nearly close enough to reach out and just grab the body. And that was my assumption, but... What? What makes you think something like that happened? Because I have evidence that suggests her body dropped some distance. Well, what kind of evidence? Take a look at this autopsy report. It says here that her body fell about 10 feet after her death. Oh my god, I got it right. Oh. 10 feet, huh? That's most likely the height difference between the two sides. The body overswung due to forward momentum, but then came loose and fell about 10 feet. And then, as a result of the landing impact, this crystal sphere was knocked loose. Bingo. That's... Yes, this blood-stained amethyst crystal. It's the one that came off of Miss Deaughnim's staff. And even more important is the place where this crystal sphere was found. Indeed. I believe it's already marked on this overhead map. The crystal was found. Oh. Precisely, Your Honor. In the very spot where the pendulum would arrive if given the right amount of speed. This explains your theory quite well, Mr. Wright. You have provided us with a way the body could have been moved that night. An impressive deduction, Mr. Wright. Most impressive. I wondered what that sound was. Oh no.
I thought this cold coffee might help cool you down.
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Godot?
That was a dark and bitter guess that you made, Wright. But you forgot about one thing.
Oh? And what would that be?
The aroma.
Huh?
A coffee's most reliable accomplice is its deep and profound aroma.
Hey buddy, you're telling the wrong guy. I can't smell. The rest of the court doesn't speak Coffeenese. Can you elaborate a bit more?
If the criminal had sent the body to the other side, like you say, then naturally there must have been an accomplice lying in wait to catch it.
An accomplice?
The criminal wasn't able to cross Dusky Bridge. So who collected the body? What do you have to say about that, Wright?
Mr. Godot is correct. This can't be the work of a single person.
I knew it.
Well, Mr. Wright, you know what you must do.
Yes, Your Honor. The body couldn't have made it to Hazakura Temple without an accomplice.
Very well then. If you please, Mr. Wright. Who was the person that received the body on the Hazakura Temple side?
I think there's only one person it could have been. One true reality that we know for certain is that we found Iris. Well, by we I mean Sister Bikini. Bikini found Iris desecrating the body in the courtyard of the main hall. That makes Iris an accomplice. Which means it's her. The real question isn't who the accomplice was, it's who the real murderer is. I think it's her. I really do think it's her.
Take that!
It can only be you, Sister Iris.
Huh? Ah! But I
don't see why you're so surprised. The only way to transport the body from Dusky Bridge is by snowmobile. But with her bad back, Sister Bikini could never pick up a body like that. You're the only one that could have managed it.
Objection!
Right. Were you even listening to the witness's testimony? On the night of the crime, this little cutie pie was on cleanup duty in the inner temple garden after the mother-daughter bloodbath.
objection!
I haven't forgotten. But have you, Mr. Godot? This witness was also seen at Hazakura Temple, desecrating the corpse of the victim.
Strange indeed. It's almost as if on that night the defendant was in two different places at the same time.
They keep saying this. She has a very memorable twin. Who channeled Dahlia Hawthorne? Sister Iris, let me ask you something. Why didn't you mention it when you first gave your testimony?
Mention what?
The pendulum, of course. Using the sketch drawn by an eyewitness, I have established how the body was moved using the burned-out bridge. Which means it's now a fact that this occurred. Something you should have already known.
No. I had no idea. I didn't know anything about a pendulum.
But the body couldn't have been passed along to the other side without your help. So you should have known about it. In fact, it'd be impossible for you to be clueless about this whole thing. Unless you're not really Iris to begin. She didn't recognize the repaired bridge. She didn't recognize the repaired bridge. She lived on the mountain 17 years and she didn't know the bridge was different. Holy shit.
What? How can you say that, Mr. Wright?
What? What kind of nonsense is this? You're saying this witness isn't Iris of Hazakura Temple?
Objection!
Are you serious, Trite? You mean... this woman is... There's no one besides Iris that could have received the corpse that night. Now I get it. Now I know why I've been sick to my stomach this whole trial. Why her whole demeanor changed so suddenly from yesterday. Why she's trying to pin this murder on Maya. The woman that's standing there at the witness stand. Her real name is... Dahlia Hawthorne. I never thought I'd have to utter your name again, let alone see you. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. Hawthorne? Sister Iris had a twin sister. And you're looking at her, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. That name rings some bells. Distant bells, but bells nonetheless. Huh. It's just your imagination, Gramps. This file contains all the relevant data about Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh yes, I remember now. That case, 5 years ago.
My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence. The honor is all mine.
No, the honor is all mine. But according to this, Dahlia Hawthorne is already dead. It says her execution was carried out last month. So what? Death has no meaning in this courtroom. Is this the third time he's helping us? What? Order. Order, I say. Order.
Oh, wait a moment. How can you... My sister. She's already dead. Oh, what kind of...
You of all people should already understand, after all. The blood of the master of the crane channeling technique flows within that body.
Oh my god! Of course she's being channeled right now. Yes, I knew that, but I didn't think for a moment who was It's Maya. It's Maya, she's right there. Oh my god. No! Oh my god, this case is amazing.
The crane channeling technique. Now where have I heard that? That's right. You're not Dahlia Hawthorne herself. You're the spirit of Dahlia, currently inhabiting the body of a spirit medium. What an exciting story. Exciting, but quite impossible. You're asking us to buy that Dahlia Hawthorne just happened to be channeled by someone on the very night of the murder to a temple where her twin sister Iris was. Well, if you're going to put things that way, then yes. Objection! We're supposed to believe a coincidence like that just happened. I forgot the voice for a moment, sorry. Naturally, it was no coincidence. The whole thing was part of a plan from the very beginning. It's all written right here in these instructions.
What's that?
These instructions were written by your mother, Morgan Fay. And part of the plan called for Dahlia Hawthorne to be channeled. That night, there were 2 irises at Hazakura Temple. 2 of them? This is getting absurd. Even the time of the channeling was planned out. And as soon as you hear the lights out bell, in other words, 10 p.m. However, Iris was seen before dinner time. That means the Iris that was at dinner was the real Iris. And the Iris who gave me this hood in the main hall was also the real Iris. Meaning that the Iris Sister Bikini saw at the inner temple was someone else dressed as her, namely one Dahlia Hawthorne. Didn't Maya, Bikini, and Iris, quote-unquote Iris, all journey together? Or no? Maybe... They thought Maya went ahead. But in actuality, Maya was channeling Dahlia and fooled Bikini into going to the inner temple. And Bikini at the time assumed Maya was already inside. Oh. Objection! Maybe? Do you even know what you're saying, Trite? This whole channeling the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne business. Yes, it's true that you found plans that talk about it. However, there's one thing that's perfectly clear. The witness currently standing in the witness stand is the real Iris. What? What? Boy, we are breaking records with the what's here. Calm down and remember what you know about the night of the crime. After meeting Sister Bikini, the Dahlia Hawthorne that had been channeled would have been stranded at the inner temple due to the lightning strike. It was later that the body was moved by pendulum. That's right. Naturally, that would mean that the Iris that received the body was the real Iris. Are you with me so far? Godot's point is that no eyes have been off of Iris since that night.
Okay, let's assume that... Let's assume that Maya Fey channeled Dahlia and pushed the body off the cliff to be received on the other side. So, Maya Dahlia, still posing as Iris, sat over isolated on the island for a whole day and a half. Meanwhile, the real Iris was apprehended by the police, arrested. Follow the events, Zephyr, follow the events. She was arrested, she was held in prison. We talked with her. The first day of court happened. Then the second day happened. Gumshoe fixed the bridge. Iris, the real Iris, was brought from detention to the mountain to unlock the chains. Edgeworth escorted her over. The earthquake happened. The earthquake happened. Edgeworth blacked out. Iris, the real Iris, had a clear shot over to the island with the inner temple. And that's when the swap happened. The real Iris? Oh my god, the real Iris is still hiding over at the island, perhaps in the cavern, because more locks appeared. More locks appeared. Yeah, the two conspired and they locked up. One locked in the other. And the swap happened, so when everyone got over there to see what was what, Phoenix walked in, and standing before him was Dahlia Hawthorne, being channeled by Maya. And the real Iris was inside the hall, inside the gate. That's when the swap happened. Right? No, I feel like I'm missing one thing. Okay, let's just go. Yes. After being notified of what happened, the police came to Hazakura Temple's main hall. There, they found Iris in her room and arrested her. And ever since, she's been under police supervision at the detention center. Yes, I suppose. Can't deny any of that.
Phew, thank goodness. It looks like he's finally convinced.
Something still seems off. Way off. I'm still not convinced that the Iris here is the same one from the other night. I suppose you're about to say something really ridiculous. Like, the real Iris and the spirit of Dahlia somehow switched places? Yes. Yes, oh my god, yes. Switched places? To be perfectly honest, there are still quite a few things I don't understand, but I do know that unless we confirm the witness's identity, we can't continue with this trial. Iris doesn't have the spiritual power needed to channel Dahlia, which means must have switched places somewhere. Well, Mr. Wright, since the time she was arrested at Hazakura Temple, have there been any chances for Iris to switch places with Dahlia Hawthorne? There was one. Oh, baby. Your Honor, I think there might have been one chance. Oh? Explain yourself.
Yesterday, for a few minutes, Iris's whereabouts were unknown.
Unknown? What do you mean?
What I mean is, there was a span of time in which Iris was able to move about freely unsupervised. Well, who was it? Who would give a murder suspect time to move about freely like that? I'm sorry. I know you didn't mean to. It wasn't your fault. The person who gave Iris the chance to freely move about was... Miles Edgeworth.
Take that!
Oh boy. This is Mr. Edgeworth, isn't it? Your Honor, there was a fairly large earthquake yesterday, was there not? An earthquake,
Earthquake! Oh my goodness, the inner temple. This kind of tremor might...
How could I have? She fled. She escaped. We went to the inner temple right away. And it's true, Iris was already there. However, they had already switched places by that point in time. When I arrived at the training hall, I was met by none other than Dahlia Hawthorne. That's quite enough already, Mr. Wright. Now see here. No judge in his right mind would consider the idea of...
Be quiet. It's been a long time, Mr. Judge.
That voice.
Guess I'll have to ask again. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask her for her name and profession. That's one of my rules. Dahlia Hawthorne. And my current profession? Permanently retired.
I'm so hyped I can't words.
Huh. So you're not going to bother hiding your identity anymore, huh? Why should I? After all, I'm dead. There's really nothing you can do to punish me.
Shit! She's got us there. Yeah, okay. What is going on here?
Dahlia Hawthorne. I never thought we'd meet again. And I never thought we'd meet like this. But this time, I'll end it. For her, and for myself.
Oh, baby. For a second there, I thought Dahlia was like, just gonna go, yeah, I killed him, but I'm just a ghost. What are you gonna do to me? Oh. Maybe as a last hurrah, she'll try to claim to be Maya and try to get Maya's body executed? Uh-oh. That's a possibility. I think I'm gonna end it right here. Well, that was a surprise. Oh my god. My mind is still exploded from the realization that the person on the stand right now is Maya Fey, channeling a spirit, but something doesn't add up. We know for a fact that Pearl Fay read this letter. It's because of that that gravy got thrown on the scroll. Maya had to read this at some point. Like, I'm dead certain that the implication here is that Maya Fay willingly channeled Dahlia Hawthorne after reading this. But when could she have, and why would she? I know Maya's an airhead, but surely she'd read that last line and go, does someone have something out for me? I don't know. Anyhow, I think that might be it for now. I think there's... Guys, I think there's a very distinct possibility that the next video will be the grand finale of this entire Let's Play. My God. All I know is that this case is a stunner. Oh yeah. It's one of my favorites. Definitely top 3. At minimum, this case is top 3. I was going to say, though, that the whole pendulum thing, for a second there, it kind of gave me the same feeling as the whole bust situation from the very big circus case. I do think it's implausible that the rope around the corpse would be tied enough to swing over, and yet then conveniently fall over and land on the other side. But whatever. I guess that's just something I need to just take in stride, I suppose. So yeah, this has been Phoenix Wright, Trials and Tribulations. I thank you for watching, and hopefully I will catch you next time. So until then, please take care. Oh, also, I'm Zephyr the Jester. I forgot to say that, I think. Bye.